It looks like a quiet corner of East Anglia, but in the middle of 2014, Clacton-on-Sea was thrust centre stage in British politics.
It's just like the bride and groom. That's lovely.
The sudden decision of the local Tory MP Douglas Carswell to defect to UKIP was in effect a declaration of war. In the by-election that autumn, Clacton was flooded with Tory MPs, full-time staff and money.
I haven't written anything off, Michael. That's why I'm here.
All out to stop UKIP winning their first Westminster seat. It was run by a team from Conservative HQ in London, and emails and other evidence from Clacton show a pattern of behaviour across 3 by-elections the Tories fought that year.
We were taken over by central office staff. They acted so swiftly within 24 hours. They had a team of people, knuckling down in our association office in Clacton, and they worked very hard indeed.
When Channel 4 News first exposed this story, we found that the Conservatives had spent almost £90,000 on 3 by-elections in 2014, which wasn't included on the party's official expense returns. If the money had been declared, then in each of those campaigns, the party would have been well over the official spending limit. In particular, we found that the Tories booked almost 1,200 nights of local hotel accommodation, none of it officially declared. And now we found another hotel here in the Clacton constituency. And we've also spoken to Tories involved in the campaign in this seat, who say that they're deeply shocked at the way their party seems not to have stuck by the law. Katie Woodland had just become a paid Conservative campaign manager in Shropshire, and she was among staff brought to Clacton to help out, put up at the Premier Inn. We showed her bill for her room and hundreds of other hotel rooms the Tories booked in by-elections that year.
The fact that it happened in 3 by-elections, one after the other, it's systematic. And they know the law, they've been running elections for years.
Indeed, the party sent Woodland on a legal training day where she learnt what expenses should be declared and about the £100,000 limit on by-election spending. That's why she's so shocked the hotels weren't disclosed.
I had a full day of this, that and the other. You cannot do this, you can't do that. We had it drummed into us what notional was. Talking about you can't, your stamp, if somebody donates some stamps to you, you still need to declare it. So all of us in that room went away knowing at no point can you spend more than what you're supposed to, and the consequences are that you'll go to prison. I'm not going to go to prison for anyone. To do it 3 in a row and to do it pretty big in a couple of the places means there was full intention behind it. If they went over by a couple of rooms because they'd miscalculated, £30–40 accidentally, that's different to, 6, 7, 40, £50,000.
This is the Rock Hotel in Frinton-on-Sea, the 3rd local hotel at which we now know Tory staff stayed. We've seen evidence from just one 10-day spell that the party took at least 36 room nights here. But the hotels say they had party bookings for the entire month-long election. The owner of the Rock has explained to us that her hotel was especially convenient to Tory staff because it was only a couple of minutes' walk away from one of the main party campaign headquarters during the by-election, the annex to someone's house, which they called the bunker. Room rates at the hotel were around £70 a night for bed and breakfast. So overall, this hotel meant an extra bill of several £1,000s, again undeclared. And the invoices were paid weekly and personally by the campaign supremo, Marion Little. Marion Little was the big Tory figure in Clacton. She works officially as campaign specialist at Conservative HQ and features heavily in all 3 by-elections we've looked at. We've now found across the 3 campaigns 770 nights of hotel rooms linked to Little in some way, often in her name and often booked to her home address in Hertfordshire. Some of those rooms in Clacton went to other top party staff, including Alan Mabbott, the party's legal officer, and Little's boss, Darren Mott, then deputy director and now head of campaigning. They all worked for Stephen Gilbert, who had a dual role as director of campaigning and as David Cameron's political secretary in Number 10. Now Lord Gilbert, he's helping the In campaign in the EU referendum. Gilbert reported directly to the two co-chairmen, Grant Shapps, who quit last year, and Lord Feldman, who's still there. All of them, except Shapps and Feldman, stayed at various times at the Lifehouse Spa and Hotel. But one of the longest residents there was Victoria Goff, the Conservatives' legal agent for the whole campaign. And a month after the Clacton result, Ms. Goff submitted to the returning officer her official expenses return, together with dozens of receipts.
But nowhere in these documents does there seem to be any mention of the £30,000 that we estimate the party spent on the 3 local hotels that we know about. Victoria Goff formally signed the statement, saying that to the best of my knowledge and belief, it is a complete and accurate return as required by law. Now this is the room list as booked by the Conservatives for the Lifehouse Spa Hotel. And you can see here, line 6, number of nights, it says 32, room 62, Miss Victoria Goff.
Yes.
So the agent for the campaign, the official agent, was actually staying in a hotel, and yet the expense of that hotel is not on her signed return.
Well, I can't really comment because, you know, I'm not privy to any of this information. This is the first I've seen it. What I can comment is that my knowledge of Victoria is that she's a very thorough, very professional campaign manager.
This roster shows that Victoria Goff had at least 24 people in her campaign team, rostered day by day to work in 6 different sectors of the constituency. At least 21 of these individuals stayed in the local hotels. One of those campaign offices was the so-called bunker, not far from the Rock Hotel. And as the campaign came to an end, Marion Little gave orders to close it down and move the whole operation to the next by-election in Rochester. In this email obtained by Channel 4 News, Marion Little wrote,
"You will need to get kettles, clipboards, rosettes and balloons, leftover coffee, tea bags, pens back to Frinton Bunker. The helium canister needs to come to the bunker so we can get it to Rochester. All this kit is being collected at 7 a.m. tomorrow for onward transmission to Rochester. Finally, and most importantly, thank you. I look forward to seeing you all south of the river."
That email shows just how much it was one centrally run operation, moving round from one battle to another.
All that the central headquarters, central office will say is that all our spending was in compliance with the law. It's a
Well, that's
simple...
not good enough. I would say on television or on radio, that is not good enough. You owe it to the party members and to the individual associations to, you know, to look at this. They need to be investigating this fully. They should have had alarm bells ringing as soon as questions were asked. You know, and they should be scurrying to their accounts.
If I'd have known that they were going to not declare the hotel spend, then I would not have gone to Clacton. I would have questioned my own part in the party. I probably would not have stayed as a campaign manager, and I would have tried to get it investigated earlier on myself, because I don't agree with it and it shouldn't have happened.
This morning I caught up with Victoria Goff, now Victoria Carslake, the official agent who was legally responsible and submitted the official expenses returns.
You were the agent in the Clacton by-election, I believe, for the Conservatives. Why didn't you put all the hotel bills on your election return? Why didn't you put the hotel bills on the election return?
She told me to contact the party's press department.
I mean, you know that the Electoral Commission guidance says that hotel bills have to be included. And you stayed at one of the hotels yourself, didn't you?
The party said again tonight that all spending was correctly recorded in accordance with the law. But were Victoria Gough and the other agents really responsible, or simply told what to do by bosses? Was party chairman Lord Feldman involved, or even the party leader? Essex police say they're aware of the allegations and are cooperating with the Electoral Commission.